This episode of Pushing Horizon Step by Step is brought to you by Never Second Europe. Science-backed fueling trusted by elite endurance athletes. Fuel smarter, go further. Hello everyone, welcome to the Pushing Horizon podcast. This is your host Ash. I stumbled on this story and couldn't really look away. First Mexican, first Latina to take down the world's 5 toughest deserts. 6 days, self-supported sufferfests, 250 kilometers each, backpack on, 54 degrees heat in Namibia, ankle-killing salt flats in Atacama at 3000 meters, 12 hours of straight climbing in Jordan, Antarctica being Antarctica. That's 1250 kilometers of brutality in a single year. And 4 weeks later, she towed the line at Cocodona. This episode is about what that really takes. The mindset, the recovery, the mistakes, even the silly ones, like melting a shoes by the fire. It's about sleep deprivation, hallucination, and she's out there proving women can do hard things isn't just a slogan. It's her mission. So let's dive into it, and please let me introduce to our guest today is Tanya. Hey Tanya, welcome to the podcast. And I have just known you briefly, right? So I just found I would say I stumbled on you and I saw you do these amazing and brutal races. So first of all, welcome.
Thank you so much for the invite.
Yeah, I think the first question would be is who is Tanya?
Hi, Ash. Tanya, I am an ultra runner, coach, and podcast host as well. I am 37 years old and I am originally from Mexico, Mexico City.
So let's start at the beginning, right? What brought you into this ultra run or ultra running? And you only do these hard desert races.
How it started, I think it started with just a normal run, like I think most other people start. And that was 9 years ago. I don't particularly love running. For I know it's gonna sound funny, but I do not love running. I still don't like love it. I do love the adventure, and I think that's where everything has started for me. So I did a race. What's the name? Spartan race. You know those obstacle races. And the first one was 9 years ago, and I've kind of liked the idea of running through the trail because that was my first like trail experience. And then I just researched because 10 years ago there was not such a thing of it's like Instagram or it was just a little bit of like Googling here and there, and there was no many races in Mexico, so I really had to like dig in if there was if that was actually a sport. And I found out that it was a sport, just running in the trails. And I found that there was like this 50K 6 months later. And I was like, 6 months, I think I can do it. And pretty much I think I guess I had like a basic fitness, it was just, keeping fit. From there to my first 50K was 6 months. And after that, I think I fell in love with, like I said, I don't think it was the running. It was just more of the adventure and realizing that, oh my God, I can do it. I can cover all this distance and have like this awesome time out there. So yeah, that's how it started.
And when did this thing become from where you were like, oh, I like this feeling. I like to stay in the trails and I like this amazing feeling, adventure journey. But then it took a turn and you started doing these brutal desert races. Those looks incredibly hard and difficult. So what drawn you into these incredibly difficult challenges?
So Like I said, I started running 10 years ago, and every time I've kind of raised the bar a little bit. You're like, oh, I did a 50K and that didn't kill me. What else can I do? Okay, 60K. All right, that didn't kill me either. 70, and then you start just going, a little bit bigger and bigger. And then 5 years ago, I started having like these kind of competition with myself of like, okay, every year we're going to try to do something bigger or harder or more challenging every year. So that's how I kind of plan my years. Every year I have to do something more challenging, whatever it is, if it's maybe a challenge or distance or longer or more difficult or whatever. So I've been playing this game for 5 years with myself, and so far I've been winning against myself. And one year I was like, oh, I want to do Cocodona. So I was like, "Ooh, that is definitely like way out of my comfort zone. Like that's running like days on end. Like how can I do that?" So I said, "Oh, I think if I do a stage race, it could be like a good prep for Cocodona, which that's sort of what you do. You run 4 or 5 days, or you do this work for back to back." So I started Googling, again, stage races just to see which one I can do to prepare for Cocodona. And then I realized there was these series of races that are called Racing the Planet. And if you do 5 of them in a year, you have like you hit this grand slam. And I seen that it's like has a lot of history, and they look absolutely, like you were saying, brutal. And there's only been like a handful of people in the world that've done it. I think it's like 20-ish now. And there's been only 9 women when I did it that done it. So I was like, oh, I this sounds like this could be fun, and this would definitely prepare me for Cocodona. And so that's where we kind of decided to do the 5 deserts last year, sort of like in preparation for Cocodona, which I attempted 4 weeks after finishing this brutal challenge that you were saying.
That's insane. So you are the
It's a
first
crazy story
Mexican,
for
right?
you.
So you're the first Mexican to do
Yes, for Mexican and Latin or
Latina,
Latina.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you're the first Mexican slash Latina to conquer these top 5 deserts, and you said you are now the 10th woman, right? Because you said there were nine, so you're the
Yes.
10th woman. Out of these five, which one broke you most? The most mentally, physically, and in what way?
Yeah. So each one it was so different. Each one is like you were saying in different deserts. So each one is 250 kilometers divided in 6 stages. And I think each one was so different. Every desert has his challenges. There was in Namibia, we had around 54 degrees, and the sun was just like that sand dunes that are like super like thin sand, like you would put your foot in and like you will slide down. That one was, I think, for me, the one that broke me the most, because maybe because obviously it was very hot. It was 54 degrees. I was carrying this backpack, by the way. You carry your own things through the whole week. So you're carrying a backpack with 10 kilos around there. So trying to climb those sand dunes with that in your back in 54 degrees, I think for me was definitely a bit, and it was my first one. So that definitely broke me again, maybe because it was my first one as well. And you just have no idea what you sign up for. But I think all the races were different. That one in particular was because it was very hot, and it was my first one. And then we went to do Gobi, which that one was the least scary one. That was actually very friendly. And then after that, we went to Jordan, which that one's crazy or not, it had a lot of elevation because we did a couple of days through the desert, but then the last day we went through some mountain range, and it was literally, I think I counted like 12 hours climbing. Like there was no stop. It was just up and up and up. So I know Jordan, you never think about big mountains, but it does have big mountains. So that was a challenge for Jordan. And then after that, we went to Antarctica, which obviously it's challenging because it's Antarctica. So even just getting there was challenging. And then the last one was Atacama, which was absolutely brutal because it was super hot as well. And this was through salt flats, which if I can explain a little bit of the salt flats, it's just like just a squishy, like you were walking in coral reef, like just like this kind of terrain that will destroy your ankles and your shoes, and it's just like really difficult terrain. So if you and then it has very high altitude as well, so you're like around 3,000-ish meters above sea level. So each one, like you're seeing, it has its own different challenges, each one of them.
How much was the gap in between the each races? Because it's each races you describe had its own difficulties on its own, and like how did the recovery go for you?
There was not much recovery really. I think that's the thing I didn't think about when I signed up, because I was like, oh, I can do, like, my body can take that, it's not a problem. And then I was like, oh, that was a bit too much. Like, I need a lot of recovery from that. And you had between 4 to 6 weeks to go and hit the next one. So, and then not sometimes even less, because when you come back, they're very, very far. So, you finish the race and I usually stay an extra day, in the place just to, I don't know, sleep and eat because you haven't eaten, sleep, and just rest. So usually I had spent there a day, and then I will travel the next day, and usually it would be a 2 3 day travel. I live in Dubai, so it's very far. All the places were really far apart from Jordan, which that was the closest one. So it was like almost a week of travel. So when you were back home, you're like pretty much taking your things out of the bag and just putting the next one. And basically, yeah, like you were saying, just focusing in recovering as much as you can, just rest and eat, and do a little bit of running here and there if possible. But yeah, not much of training happening last year.
When you are going everywhere around the world, right? It's basically so many, like 5 deserts. Has there been any low moments when you were climbing this mountain? Obviously, Antarctica snows and everything. Has there been this low moment where you thought like, why the hell I'm doing this?
Yes, of course, many many moments, and you're like, what the hell am I doing? Like, I don't need to be doing this. But again, I just love the adventure and I like to explore. So I do know that I love that and I like doing that. But I don't think I had a lot of time to kind of regret the decision to be there, or like kind of think about like, oh, I'm not gonna finish it, because I think you're too busy. Your brain is too, almost like way too busy to think about DNFing. Like, I am just focusing on like, how can I survive? How I need the next checkpoint, and you're carrying, like I was saying, your food and your hydration, and you just have to be on top of that. So you have like no time to be thinking. There's just no time. Like, you always have to be like taking care of yourself. So there was really not a second guessing almost.
And right, 5 deserts was not enough for you. You came and you did Cocodona, right? That's like you said, it was way out of your comfort zone, but you still did it and you got it done. So
Yeah. Well, I stood up on that star line 4 weeks after finishing the last desert. So after running 1,250 kilometers through the most extreme deserts of the world, carrying my backpack with it, it was like around 30 days racing through the whole year in extreme conditions. And 4 weeks after all that, I was standing, yeah, and the star line of Cocodona. Probably I wasn't standing there like feeling my strongest or my fittest self at all, because those races took a lot away from me. But I knew I had the hit for it. Most importantly, obviously the race didn't go as I hoped. With There were a mistake I did, But I did stood up in that start line just with the hopes that I would make it till the end.
Compared to all these other five brutal races that you did, how did Cocodona fare? Was it up to its reputation as one of the hardest ultramarathons?
I don't know. I think it has its own difficulty. I think the only difference or the difficult part of the Cocodona race is that the sleep part, the sleep deprivation, because in my previous races, obviously you have like you finish one stage and then you go to sleep. So you do have, or at least you have time to rest or, until the next day. So in this one, you just don't have that time. You just have to go and you manage your own sleep whenever you can and here and there. So definitely, I think that was the difference of it. But apart from that, I mean, I was happy that I didn't have to carry a 10-kilo backpack. So, like going uphill, the first 50K that are very steep, I was very happy not having to carry a backpack. I was very happy that the checkpoints were so well stocked. There was food everywhere, which in the deserts, we don't have any, like, you have the food that you're carrying, so the amount of food is very limited, like you are carrying your own food, so I have to eat very little, just to pretty much survive. And here in Cocodona, like the aid stations, they were like Michelin star restaurant breakfast. Like it was so good. So I did enjoy that. There was Coke and there was ice. Like that felt like a dream for me. I was like, this is absolutely amazing. Like I was in the desert sometimes dreaming for a Coke or for ice. Like we were six, I was in Namibia. Remember, I was just dreaming for ice for 6 days. Like you're drinking tea for 6 days because there's everything is hot.
But
We
yeah,
don't have anything. So having those kind of comforts were very nice.
it's incredible how you define those as comfort, because for some that is a brutal, brutal thing, But for you, it's comfort because you did your own backpacking and conquered these five toughest desert that you did. And here you are, you have made history, first Latina and Mexican women to conquer this toughest thing, and 10th women. That's remarkable on its own. So what's next for you? Like, what's the next
Well,
scary,
I
wild
wanted
thing on the
to
list?
I wanted to finish Cocodona and just scrapped it out of the book, but we know that that didn't happen. So, well, obviously we're going back next year. And yeah, I am excited because since I when I DNF, I didn't DNF, like I was like sad about it. I was like actually excited. I was like, I think it would be much better for me to do it next year because I can properly train. Because,
Mhm.
like I said, I didn't train much the last year. I mean, for much as the deserts, but that's not training, that's really surviving. And I didn't have much of training, and like I said, I arrived to the start line tired, not the fittest, not the strongest, definitely. So I am excited to see what can I do, or how the race can be much more different, having like do it properly, with training properly. And like that's where I'm focusing my whole next 42 weeks, I think we have till the next Cocodona. So I am 100% focused right now in the next Cocodona. Yeah.
So when you came to that decision, when you're like, okay, I don't think I can do it, how did you felt? Like you said, you were part excited because it's a fresh new challenge. There is no more this 120, 1,250 kilometer of backlog of running continuously per week, and you have like so much rest now, right? So, but at that moment when you already committed yourself and you went through this race and you had to DNF, what was going through your head at that moment?
No, I was like heartbroken. That's like the best word to call it. So I was so heartbroken. So, and I DNF the most stupid way possible. Like I think I have the best DNF story in history, I think. So as you know, it was a very wet year in
Yeah.
Cocodona, something never seen before. and I was obviously drenched. Maybe I should have packed a little bit more clothes, but I'm a minimalistic. Like, I didn't carry a lot of things. I was like, I've run the whole deserts with one pair of shoes and the same t-shirt and the same shirts. Like, I don't change, and I don't just do it the whole week with this. So that's sort of the same thing that I did. And it was a very hot, very wet year. And in one of the, I think it was, I can't remember which one, it was before Sedona. And there was like this fireplace. It rained so much. Like, it was a full monsoon over us. And arriving to the aid station, they had a little fire pit. So my great idea was to dry all my clothes and put my shoes next to the fire pit so they could, dry off, and I can run the rest of the night dry at least. And well, I put them a little bit, I put my trainers a little bit too close to the fire pit. So the shoe melted away, the whole heel melted, and I just laughed. I thought it was funny. I put my shoe and it didn't feel any different. So I was like, okay. So I kept going all night and all morning. When I got to Sedona, my leg started to hurt a lot, and my knee and my calf, probably because I was moving with a half melted shoe,
Yeah.
probably. So I didn't have the support, even though I didn't feel it. My body clearly was feeling, you know, was feeling it. And I sadly, like I said, I didn't have any other shoes to change really. So yeah, that I had to tap out because I had, like, my calf was already like looking a little bit purple. So that's not never good.
Yeah.
When your skin starts turning colors. So yeah, that was like, I don't know, I was like in disbelief that this was actually happening to me, and that's how it was gonna finish my day, because overall I felt okay. Like, my legs were working. I was not hungry. I was not tired. I was just cruising. I was not moving fast, but I was moving. So I knew I would have made off the cut-ups and everything. So yeah, it was just something out of my control that I just did a stupid mistake and it cost me the race.
Yeah, that is like a,
Stupid.
yeah. But then okay, it rained because if you listen to other people, then they talk about this huge farm where their foot, the shoes felt like the cement and everything when they were going through that thing.
Oh
And
yeah,
yeah,
it was because of the mud.
yeah,
It was just, and I was angry as well because I mean, I tapped out in, I don't know miles, but it's kilometer 384, 85, so almost 400
yeah,
kilometers. And I was like, I've gone through the hardest
yeah.
parts of the whole route, and I've done it in these like crazy weather, like the craziest weather. I went through the mud pits, and I battled through all that, and I was just angry that I did all that for nothing. So yeah, it was another part that I was a little bit angry.
So when you obviously DNF and then now you're doing it the next year again, what is the plan this time around?
This plan at this time around, I now that I've seen the course, which was pretty good to see, there's a lot of parts that I think they are very runnable that we didn't have the chance because it was, like, again, a mud pit. So I hope we don't have that weather again. That would be a little bit not really that statistically we shouldn't, right? So I hope to move a little bit faster in certain places, in certain, stretches. And like I said, I won't get there tired, and I had a plan of sleeping. So I think I overslept. Like, I was stopping when I really didn't want to stop, but I had it in my schedule. So I kind of stick to it, which I think this time around, I'm just gonna go until I fall, pretty much. Like, just go until I feel tired and I want to sleep, and I just have a dirt nap next to the trail. I think that's one thing I'm gonna do. And with all that, I think I want to shoot for a time this time. Like in the previous one was like, oh, I just want to finish sort of thing. Like that was my goal. But I think this time now that I've seen it and the times a little bit and all that, I think I want to shoot for less than 100 hours if I can. That would be a dream for me. I am a slow, very slow runner or walker or tracker, whatever. So I think less than 100, I will be very happy.
Runner. There is no such thing as tracker. You're a
Yeah,
runner. You're a runner.
fast hiker.
Slow runner.
Hmm. I'm a slow runner, but I'll make it there.
Yeah. And to do this incredible thing, you need lots and lots of endurance. I can't believe that you did just 4 weeks before the Cocodona and you did 1250 kilometers of running in like 5 different deserts, which were very harsh and very tough. How would you define the endurance, or what does it mean to you? Physically, mentally?
I think the beginning of the whole five deserts, I was looking at actually the deserts, there's no really like a cutoff time, for example, right? So I was like in the mind of, I think anybody can do this. Like you just need to walk. If you can walk, you can do these distances. And then after I came back from the first one, Namibia, that changed. Because my husband was asking me again, do you think anyone can do it? I just laughed and I said, I don't think anybody can do it. I think you have to, but not fitness wise. I think if you have a basic level of fitness, medium to basic, and a lot of mind, like really a tough mindset, then you're in a good path to do it. So for me, endurance is more than the fitness. And I've definitely have experienced it and seen it. And in many of the deserts, actually, you can see someone that is like super fit with all the gear, like they are, they look absolutely well prepared and they don't finish. And I've seen people that maybe, define all the odds for many reasons, age, weight, size, whatever you want to call it, and they finish. So, I think endurance it's such a beautiful thing. Doesn't know about age or weight or height or nationality or nothing. It just tests your mental strength.
And how do you build this kind of things? Is it natural to you, or is it something that you have worked over the years by doing other brutal races?
Yeah, I think you start growing it through the years. And then as when you start doing more and more, you obviously have a little bit more. I call it the mental toolkit. So as more you do, you get more tools in your toolkit and you put them there. I think the hard part is at the beginning when you don't have this chat, you're not there yet to do, or your mental toolkit is empty. Like if you have a problem and you need to solve it, there's nothing in your mental toolkit yet. So how do I solve it? So I think at the beginning I did a lot of like, and even daily, you can do daily challenges to kind of toughen up your mind. I used to do, and I still do, I guess, instead of taking the lift or the electric stairs, I take every time the normal stairs, for example. It's just something, even though you don't want to, you're tired maybe. I remember I would go to work and come back, and instead of taking the lift to my fourth floor, I would take the stairs every day. Just it's a way of teaching your brain that no, I'm not going to choose comfort today. And those kind of things, like, and for me, I'm a foodie, I love to eat. So I went into this like balanced, healthy diet. But yeah, I had a really not bad diet, but I would do, my normal eating. But I went through this like mind over matter challenge of like, I'm going to do this diet, like a really good, well done diet. Don't go like not a crazy diet, just a well done one. And I said, I'm not going to eat anything that is not in my plan, for example. And for that was very difficult. And I remember I did it through the Christmas and New Year's parties and all that. And it was so hard to say no to a lot of temptation. So those kind of things are, anything that challenges you, like I was saying, maybe for me, I choose food because it's hard for me to say no to food. So, but I guess people can choose their own challenge. Like I was saying, it can be something as stupid as the stairs, or today I'm going to do, something out of my comfort zone. That, like I said, can be something, an everyday kind of thing. Like, doesn't need to you didn't need to run a race to start getting your mental toughness or build up your toolkit. You can do it in your everyday daily tasks.
And in this topic, right? So when you are doing these races and like this, I cannot imagine going through 1,250 kilometers. Like you said, the terrains were very higher. It's just like 12 hours of straight hiking. That's brutal, right? So I'm sure there were some moments where you felt like, oh God, this is tough. And when you are, sometimes it's really hard. When you are in that moment where you think like, oh, this is hard, I cannot do it, and it's very hard to get out of it. What is your mantra while you're navigating such a phases during races?
Yeah. I'm not like a mantra kind of person. I think I am more of like a word kind of person. So I pick a word and I go by it. So even in trainings or a certain block of training or a certain race, I say, okay, the word of the day, the word of the block, whoever is going to be gratitude. And when times like that start, like when those kind of thoughts start, coming, I just go to my word. So I would go to like, okay, gratitude. And I just start thinking things around that word, like, oh, I'm grateful that I have these legs that are carrying me over. I'm grateful that I'm here. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to do this. I am grateful that I have, so just thinking and starting to think about what other thing I'm grateful for. I already went out of like the thoughts have gone already gone because I put my attention into something more positive. So that's sort of how I kind of type out when I'm going into this like a spiral and going down. So for these deserts, I had a word called that was legacy. I said I want my name to be there as the first one, like, and it doesn't need to be something deep, maybe that was super superficial, but it moved me. I wanted it like superficial in the sense like who cares, like who wants to be in the book, or nobody knows about this, or it's just a name, it's just a race. But for me, it was I wanted to turn it something big. So it shows you sometimes my words are like very deep, or sometimes they can be really superficial. Whatever really moves you is what you have to go for.
To achieve what you have achieved, right? You need this drive, and what is pushing you to go in these places where you really don't want to go because it's hard, it's harsh, it's desert, right? So, what pushes you to
But I
go?
want to go.
Yeah, what is the drive
I want
behind?
to go. I want to go one because these places, the memories that I have, there is not enough powerful camera enough to see, like to show or to expect to share the places my eyes have seen and the places that I've experienced and the feelings and the smells and just everything that surrounds it, the noise. So I do want to go because I want to see it for myself, experience the whole place and all different places. And yeah, so I do want to go, and the pain or the uncomfortableness and all that. I do love that. I do look forward to like that little pain because I know I'm doing something not common, and I like that feeling of like, oh, you're doing something that it's difficult and it's hard, so it's going to be painful obviously and uncomfortable. So when I start feeling like that, it's like, oh, I know I'm achieving being uncommon, and that's sort of also what moves me a little bit.
So, what is it about you that for you doing this toughest thing? I know the pain and your mental fortitude and the way you need to be determined to do thing, and some, like you said, people that were doing these things, some quit, right? So, what do you know, or what is your relationship with the pain and perseverance that you have to do to complete these toughest desert races?
It's like a reflection a little bit because I feel like this world has become way too comfortable in many ways. And sometimes these races in particular taught me that sometimes you take things for granted, like ice, for example, right? Something so stupid, or a toilet, or having the freedom of going to the shower whenever you want, just turning the thing and water comes out. Like, I had no shower, no toilet, no bed for 7 days. And when you come back, that feeling of like going back to a bed to having your first shower. It's like you were doing everything for the first time, but this time you definitely remember. It's not like you're a kid or a baby that, oh, your first, and you don't remember. This time I remember, and probably it feels like that. I just feel like the first time you sip a cold, cold Coke after all you've gone through is just, yeah, it's just things that you take for granted, and I like that feeling as well.
How did you felt? Because you did 5 races, 5 stages, and the last one when you finished the cross line, and did you did you feel relief? Were you happy, or you're like, okay, Cocodona, I'm coming for you?
I'm ready. I was such an emotional ride the last day, which was I knew I was gonna be the last finish line, right? And it was very emotional since like I started the day, I was like crying already. I was like, can't believe I went through all this, like the whole year I've been fighting this, so it was unbelievable. I was excited. I was again emotional. Maybe I wasn't sad that it was over. I was so ready for it to be over. Like I was like, yes, please. I'm just very tired. I want this to stop. And to be honest, I wasn't even thinking about Cocodona yet. That would have freaked me out. So I was just trying to survive the last desert, finish it, and just enjoy that moment of like, okay, feeling proud that I went through all the deserts and all the challenges that I went through. And yeah, I was excited that that I knew that my mental toolkit was earned a really good tools on the way. So I knew that the next races, Cocodona or any race, I'm gonna have a really strong mental toolkit for the next one. So that was good because then you don't know what really you're capable of now with a better set of tools now. What can you build?
Did you knew beforehand going into this final stage that you would, if you finished, you would be the first Latina and Mexican
Yes, yes,
woman?
I knew it.
Okay.
Yes, I knew it since day one,
And
and that's what I was shooting for.
and how did that felt when you realized that it's finally done?
Oh, that was a dream, seriously, and more because they have a in the website there is this page and that they have the names of the 20 people that have completed this challenge, and they have their nationalities obviously, and I don't know, since I seen the when I seen it since a year ago before starting, when I seen that page, I said, "Oh my God, imagine having your name and your nationality represented. Like you are the first one, like and the ninth woman or 10th woman to complete it." So for me, when I crossed the finish line and then when I came home and all that, and I opened the website, I was like, "My name is there. Like we did it." So it only took me a year, but yeah. Like I said, it was the most stupid, super superficial, right? I just wanted my name there. I mean, no one knows about it. It was just me that I wanted to. I was just too stubborn, and I wanted that name in there.
And if you go back now, right? So we have done these amazing things, and do you think the Tanya who was doing this 50K trail run at the beginning would really have thought of doing this incredible 1200 and 50 kilometers of desert running.
I haven't. I don't even know the time right now. Sometimes I stand up and I'm like, how did I do that? Like, was that a dream? And then you have to look at the medals and be like, no, that was definitely you. And like you sometimes I keep seeing my photos, and you're like, I can't believe I did that. Like there is like when I finished or when I DNF Cocodona, the next day I woke up and I'm like, how long did I go? Like 400 kilometers? Like, that's insane. Like, right now, I cannot even do 5 kilometers. So, I don't know. I always tell my husband that I have like an alter ego, that when I start a race, it's just my brain, everything changes. And then when I finish or the task is done, I just turn to a different person. Like, and I'm like, I don't know if I can do that. And then I have to kind of remind myself every time that yeah, you've done it. So yeah. So absolutely no, the Tanya 10 years ago, no. And like I said, probably I'm in the same thing right now because I don't think I did that. Can't believe it.
Yeah, it's amazing how we do it. I don't know. I am just in,
I don't know either.
yeah, disbelief. Right after talking to every people like Virgin Token, I just like, God, you did 440 kilometers. That's still insane. So close, yet so far. But
But so far,
yeah, yet so far.
yeah.
But I know, I believe you. You'll do it next time because you'll be fully rested. And I,
Yes.
I can't even believe that you attempted that after doing 1250 because
I know
that's,
everyone was saying that was stupid, and to be honest, I didn't DNF because I was feeling
yeah,
tired or I bonked or I didn't even DNF because of that. It was just because of
it's
issue.
like,
So yeah, I was actually all right.
tell us the story about that rain panto you were, or the garbage bag panto made that you gave
Oh
the
yeah,
picture
you like
about.
my poncho?
Yeah,
So I was before Crown King. Everyone obviously they said that it was going to rain, so they asked you to put your rain gear in Crown King. So all my rain gear was in Crown King, but it started raining way before that. And I was drenched. Like I was like completely soaked. I didn't have a different top or anything. Like I didn't put a different nothing in my drop bag in Crown King. I only had my waterproofs. But before that it started raining, I got to the previous checkpoint and I was so cold. It was freezing. It was freezing. So I was just so cold. I didn't have a jacket or anything because my jacket was in the next
yeah.
checkpoint camping and I still have like 10K to go or something. So I was like, there's no way I'm going to survive this with just being cold. So I've done it before. It's not the first time I wear a magnificent poncho. So I remember seeing my toolkit. I need to solve this. Ultra running is just about problem solving. So I said, okay, I'm cold. I need to solve this problem. How can I solve it? And I seen they had obviously rubbish bags because they're an aid station. They have black bags, black bean bags. So I asked one of the volunteers a black bin, and they were laughing. But I just grabbed it, caught. I just ripped off with my teeth a hole in the top, and the guy helped me to do the arms. So yeah, I put my arms through, and believe it or not, I was so toasty. I was so comfortable in the next 10K. I was just, and that's what you have to do because the moment you start cold, and I may have been okay, but I would have burned so much energy being cold. So it's just about energy preservation. So I was actually very comfy running downhill and just like I was able to enjoy it and I was just like cruising down because now I was super toasty.
Like we were talking about, right? So when you were running in this desert, you had to carry this 10 kilos of everything. Like that, basically, that's your survival pack, right? So because it was
Yes.
self service race. So and then when you come to Cocodona, there are different aid station, like you said, like a continental food, missionary food.
Yeah, yeah. It's like a Michelin star.
Yeah. So,
And there's people helping you as well. Like I was like, what is this? So in the other races, volunteers, even though they are volunteers, they aren't able to help you apart from helping you with like refilling your water bottles. They cannot help you with anything else. Like everything else, you're on your own. But here, people were like cooking and feeding you, and yeah, I was like, this is life.
did you went with the crew, or did you do it by yourself just with the drawback?
Yeah. I went with a crew. I went with my parents were the ones in a van. We rented a little van, and my parents were there, and my husband as well. And then on the way, I had two pacers that I didn't know. I met them through just the Facebook group of Cocodona. I just asked if there was two people that would like to, pace me or just. I don't know if it's a pacer. It's just, someone that can be with me through the night shifts and make me some company, I guess. So there's two people that I didn't know, and it was good to meet them and just kind of like it was good because they didn't know me, so you had the chance to like right now talk about the whole like about the deserts and about everything. So it was kind of good to chat and meet these people that just gave up their weekend to kind of go and walk with me. And so I have two pacers, and my parents were like in the van preparing me food and all that jazz. Yeah.
You have done this thing. The experience is totally different, right? With the crew and self-serving. And how did your fueling work for this kind of things? One is totally different, isolated race where you are pretty much on your own. But here it's like a five-star hotel. You can go pick from the buffet, and you can eat whatever you want.
Yeah. I love that. I love that even more. Yeah. I think I definitely will go back to normal ultra running after this. I think I'm done with this self-supported.
So no more extreme desert
No
races.
more of those ones. No, please. Probably not. Desert races, yes, but not the self-supported carrying a 10-kilo backpack. That is definitely not fun.
And so far, you have done so many of these, right? So have you ever bunked because of the nutrition on the self-served ones?
I've I've never. No, no, I was very lucky. I think I know myself again as part of the mental toolkit. It's something that you have to build with experience. So I'm very good with nutrition and more in Cocodona, for example. I mean, I had all the food that I wanted handy. And in the deserts, it was a little bit more tricky because you had to be very aware of like eating almost just barely enough, but not overeating because you cannot eat all your food. You have 5 days in front of you, and there's not unlimited food. Like whatever you're carrying is what you have pretty much. So you cannot just eat all your food in like one day, right? So you have to be very strategy with the food and just eat little and just almost enough to just make it. But I was very, very lucky. I know myself pretty well, and that's where the experience comes handy because it's like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit tired. Oh no, it's not. I'm not tired. I need food. So you start learning how to listen to your body and even like fix right away whatever is feeling not good. So yeah, and you're always like, I was always doing check-ins with myself, like how you feeling, how is it going, like are you hungry, are you not, and just kind of calling myself out if there was something not 100% right, and if there was something that I needed to be addressed, I would just like, oh, I'm feeling a little thirsty. And the same thing, the water is not, you cannot just pour water like that. You only have 1 or 2 liters for 10 kilometers. 10 kilometers in the desert is a lot. So you have to be also, don't chunk all your water in one go because you have to be smart about your drinks as well. So even that, be like, oh, I'm thirsty. I'm going to have a salt tablet instead. Just kind of start knowing yourself a little bit more. So for Cocodona, it was much more easier because he's like, oh, I need water. Oh, there will be an aid station soon, or there's plenty of people around to get water, So apart from the first long stretch, that there's a little bit more remote, the first 30 miles. But after that, it was just a big party. So no, I haven't bunked.
And do you eat real food too when you do these desert races? or like how?
So in the desert races, no. In the desert, well, yes, ish. I carry obviously a lot of gels because it's the lightest to the most calorie and carb kind of ratio that you can get, because I know, like, I don't know, a fruit can have a lot of sugars, and but I'm not going to carry an apple. It's too heavy and has too little calories. So you have to be smart again with the weight, size, ratio of your food. So the best thing is obviously gels and those kind of things. We have a little bit of nuts and things like that, just like nibbles here and there. And for the food, for the main food in the afternoon, like dinners, there is like these dehydrated meals that you carry, and you put hot water, which we have hot water. That's the only thing we have. We have water, normal water, and hot water. And you will put hot water in that little pouch thing, and it would hydrate your food, and you'll eat that super processed food for a week, which is not yummy, and your stomach would suffer for weeks after that as well. So in the deserts, I would eat only that and gels, and here, so you don't eat very much, and you eat very processed foods clearly. And in Cocodona, yeah, I tried to eat a little bit more of normal food. Obviously, like I had access to like burritos,
Yeah,
and like it was awesome.
I bet compared to
I was like, I
those,
can't believe I'm all this food. This is amazing.
I cannot imagine
Yeah.
eating those dehydrated food and coming to Cocodona and then all this luxury, like you said, it's just like God, it's like a
You see what I
heaven.
mean? So it feels like luxury, right? After eating from a bag, like these dehydrated, horrible meal, after running all day, you have this like 2,000 calorie meal that is not tasty, doesn't look good, and that's what it's not like you're looking forward to it. And in Cocodona, I was like looking forward to the next checkpoint because I know they had like chips and quesadillas, and I remember I had pancakes with bacon and maple syrup. Like I was like, what is this?
At any point, did you have these issues where you couldn't eat anything?
No, like again, I think that comes from like I am a foodie. I love food, so my stomach loves food as well. So yeah, I probably that's the issue. That's too much of an issue when you're not running, because then it was very easy for me to gain weight very fast because I love eating and my stomach doesn't mind that either. So yeah, I'm pretty good with food. I've never had any GI distress. If I had any, it was actually after the races, after the deserts. My stomach would be absolutely cooked after all the bad food that I ate, like all the gels and processed, because you're not eating it one day, you're eating it 5 days. Like that's all your main source of fueling. And that cannot be healthy. I don't think that's healthy as well. So my stomach would be very, very sore, and you're going to the toilet. It's not pretty for a couple of weeks.
You were mentioning earlier on, right? So when you did these five different races across five different deserts and coming into the Cocodona, one of the major factor would be the sleep, right? Because sleep deprivation
Yeah.
is brutal. So how did you manage this in Cocodona?
Well, I had no idea really what I was facing. I actually had planned sleep stops along the way, which I tried to keep as much as I could, but I wasn't really sleeping. Like my brain was just way too wired, which that was a surprise for me. Like I was mentioning, it was one of the things that I will change now. I don't think I will have those sleeps schedule. I think I'll just go, and then I'll just have dirt naps whenever my brain wants to sleep, because I lost a lot of time, I think. And I wasn't prepared. Like I was prepared that I put sleeping there, sleeping stops, but apart from that, I have no idea what would happen or what was the whole deal. But I'll tell you what, it was my first time hallucinating, and it was super fun as well. So I've never hallucinated before. I think I've gone, the longest I've gone, it was like 30 something hours before in a 100 miler, which is I can function even 38 hours without going crazy. And I think Cocodona, the first 2 days, I was fine. The first night, I was okay. But the second, I think it was the third and fourth night, and then my brain, I started to definitely spiral and having like these weird visions.
I
So yeah, sleeping was an issue for sure.
I just remember this conversation I had with Dante and like before about Cocodona I had. I think he said these faces were on the floor, and he was saying, "Excuse
Yes,
me."
me too. Was he saying that?
Yeah,
Yes, that's what I seen. All there was rocks, right, or pebbles in the floor, and I would see faces in the pebbles or in the floor, like faces or pictures. Sometimes they change it for pictures, like black and white photographs. And I would just stare at them because I was like so sure there was photographs like scattered around in the floor. It was wild. Sometimes the rocks will move and do formations
yeah.
and do like lines of pebbles. Like my brain was, because they were scattered, right? I mean, it's a trail, it's like pebbles all over. My brain was trying to like make lines. Like my ADHD brain that I like everything in lines was trying to, order the pebbles in my brain. I think that's what my brain was doing. Like, so I was imagining there was lines where I was looking, I was seeing that these pebbles will move and accommodate in like these like perfectly straight lines.
That is so funny. You guys saw that.
It's funny.
That's funny. So how long did you sleep? I talked to a few people. I think Cody slept for hour and 30 minutes. Harry said when he won it last year, he only slept 15 minutes, but this time he slept more. Dante slept like 3 hours or something. So how long were you sleeping?
I think I don't really know. I counted like 6 hours stop, like with my crew, because it was 1 hour here, 2 hours here. It was supposedly to sleep, and I did go to bed and put my like close my eyes. But I was talking to my crew after, and I was like, I don't think I ever slept. Like I could still hear everything, be aware of everything, and so I don't think it was resting. So you know, my brain was resting, but I don't think I was properly sleeping. And then obviously when I went out, when my hour was up, I will go up and obviously continue. But I never slept properly,
It's tough.
properly like a proper sleep. Yeah. I think I only had the first night like a 20-minute super nap because there was when there was no cruise yet allowed, and I sit down in this chair in a checkpoint and I close my eyes and I suddenly realize I slept. So I woke up with like this, you know, how long I've been here kind of thing. Because I didn't realize I was gonna just sleep. And I kind of like woke up like that, and then I realized I was sleeping because I was drooling. Like I have drool all over my face. And I was like, yeah, I guess I slept. It's like all the slavers in my face, and like, okay, I guess that was a good nap. And I look at my watch, it was 20 minutes. Oh, yeah, maybe 20 minutes. And apart from that, I can't remember like properly going to sleep after that. But I did stop a lot.
Obviously, when you ran 440, right? How does the recovery look like compared to all these five different stages that you did? Was it different?
Yeah, I think from the other five deserts, you have time to recover between each race or each day, right? So you have, I don't know, each stage it would take you, I don't know, 10, 12 hours, let's say. And then you have another 12 hours to rest. So you have your body kind of like doesn't swallow. My body swallows so much. Like I grow in sizes so much. And in the desert races, even though I swollen a lot, it wasn't that much. Like I had time to again lay down, put my feet up at least a couple of hours. So that was none of that. So when I finished, there was not a lot to recover in that sense. Physically, again, internally, like my stomach was destroyed, right? But like muscle wise was always much quicker. And Cocodona, for example, it took me, I think, a good 2 to 3 weeks just to feel the sole of my feet because they were so numb. like my feet were just like I couldn't feel the tip toes, and I thought maybe I really screwed something up here. But then I read there was a lot of people like me, so I thought, oh, okay, it's just a normal thing. But I think it's just your feet are so swollen that I guess you lose sensitivity, which again I've heard that's sort of normal. So I was not scared. I was like not panicking anymore. But that was really different from any other races. I've never felt that before. My feet, I couldn't feel my feet for days. And yeah, just I was very swollen overall. And leg wise, I was muscle wise, I was still pretty okay. And in this one, my stomach didn't battle too much because I had normal food.
But yeah.
So that was my stomach was not as destroyed. So I don't know. It's a little bit different from the desert races, but both were, yeah, it took me a little bit of time to recover for sure.
And how do you rebuild your mind? Like after going through this brutal few days without sleeping, hallucinations, did you have PTSD?
Yeah, it took me a while to go to sleep actually. I was like, "Oh, you're so tired, you're gonna go to bed right away." I couldn't unplug. Like the first two nights, I think I was not sleeping great. Like I was waking up really early. Like I don't think I ever slept either when I got to the hotel the first night after the DNFing. I couldn't, like, you just can't unplug, and my feet hurt so much that I think I couldn't, like, they were like pounding, like I could feel my feet pounding like this, like pain so much. So my family was trying to give me a massage and all that. So with all that movement and pain, you can't really sleep. And I guess your adrenaline still kind of like pumping, and your brain doesn't know if, it's still in the kind of like flight fight mode kind of thing. So it takes a couple of days to tell your body and your mind, like you were saying, to say it's okay, you can relax now, everything is fine. But I think you had your brain in alert for so many days that you just need to, like, your brain has to understand that it's time to cool down.
If you had this opportunity, right, to go back to that start line again and in the Cocodona, would it change anything?
Yeah, bring another pair of shoes
Shoes.
for sure. A couple. Yeah. And next year, I'm telling you, I'm gonna bring like 10 pairs of different shoes for sure. That's the only thing I've changed. Everything else worked perfectly. My gear worked perfectly. I broke my pole, so thank God my husband had his pole. So maybe more gear. I would put more gear because I was planning it like it was a desert, where you only carry one set of everything and then just push through. But I didn't realize that it's just twice as much as the distance, and it's harder and like there's no rest. So you need more gear in that sense. More things can go wrong. So my pole broke. My husband had to give me his pole, which it was not the right size. It was a little bit bigger than my normal. So half of the other race I did it with poles that were not my height, and it was awkward to hold, and they were very heavy. So yeah. Yeah, definitely more gear I think I will bring. So much more like backups of things.
Ultra running is so hard, right? And being
Yeah.
woman and chasing big records, this adds a lot of layers on it. Some people are fan, and there obviously comes a lot of criticism and pushback. Like, have you ever dealt with that? Those kind of things.
No, not at all. I think ultra running is a community where there is not such a thing of like, of bullying or, I think that, I don't know, but I feel like that happens a little bit more in like road running when people are like, oh, what's are your splits? And there's this like competitor kind of vibe about it. But in ultra running, I think it's more of like, hey, we're all surviving here and we're in this together kind of feel. So I've never felt a pushback or anything at all. And more being a woman, actually, I think the country, like, I think everyone wants to protect us and yeah, like kind of support it. So yeah.
You said you are here to prove that women can do hard things, right? And that's why you did this harder things, went to this
Yeah.
five toughest deserts and did obviously doing Cocodona, which is one of the incredible hardest ultramarathons out there. Why is that mission so important for you?
I think it's because I've seen people or women. I think it's so important tell women that they are capable, because I feel that there's so few or very little representation of us out there. And even like brands, for example, I think people are, or women, we think that we need to be certain size or certain look to be part of. I don't know why we think that. I know why, but I don't understand why we're still eating that kind of ideology, because I know why, because brands push that all the time, right? Like they put in the apps and everywhere in media and so on, like these size zeros, maybe trying, and how many people look like that, or how many women look like that, and so they don't want to try that thing because, oh, I don't look like that, I'm not that size, I'm never going to be that fast. And I'm just here to show them that you don't have to look like that, or be fast at all to actually go for it. If not the other thing, we are actually very good at endurance. Women, we excel at endurance. Our bodies are made, like, they're fantastic fat burning machines, and we are like so adapted to do it. And this is where we should be ruling the sport. Like that's why sometimes there's races where women actually beat men, because we are so good at endurance. So I think we need to realize and put more of this information out there, specifically for women, and just have more spaces for us out there, just to show, put my little sort of, because I don't like that. My little kind of, how I'm gonna fight that battle is showing that we can, and all the brands that, yeah, you don't need to, to do these things to look how you're telling me that I should look. So yeah.
So let's say somebody's listening to us right now, right? So they are up until this point now, and they are like thinking, "Oh God, Tanya has done this incredible thing. She did this toughest desert, and she even went to the Cocodona. If not for her shoes, she would probably have killed that too. She's doing this hard thing, right?" But they have this doubt on themselves, like, should I do it? Should I not? They're also like, you're saying, I don't know if I'm capable of doing something like this. What would you say to these women? Let's talk about that because your mission is to help women. So, what would
Yeah.
you say to the women who are listening to and they had this doubt over the head, like, I don't know if we can do that?
When I started running, I had a really good coach. He's still coaching, but I changed coaches. But when I started running with him, when I used to, and it was right when at the beginning, and I was like, do you think I can do this? Like, oh, what about doing, same thing, second guessing myself. And he was a person that I would ask, always, like, because I didn't know anyone else in this sport. And he gave me the advice. And even now, I still say that to myself all the time. What's the worst thing happen? You want to know? Just figure it, like, go and answer that question. So yeah, if you are like wondering, if anyone has just the slightly wonder, like, oh, I wonder how that feels, or I wonder how, if I could do it, like, I always say that curiosity, when I started attacking life with curiosity, the life became an amazing adventure. So it's just being about being curious of what can you do, and if you're curious, just go and look for the answer yourself.
And I ask the next question to everybody, right, who's been on the show. So, here we go. I asked this question and I got a lot of different responses from a lot of people. So now, why do you run?
I run to discover what am I capable of, and just exploring the world.
All right, and so one more thing. What would you say to those people who, like we were talking about earlier on, ultra running, ultra hiking, slow running, trekker, like we use sort of different terms, right? What would you say to those people who have misunderstood this ultra running? Because it is incredibly hard thing to do. And it's not easy, right?
It's actually easier than marathon. I just did a post about this. I think it's easier than any marathon that I've done. Well, I've done two in my life because they were too hard. So I had to go to ultra running because that was too hard. So it is easier than running in pavement, people. So yeah, go and try it out because you will love it. It
All
is
right.
not is I know it's hard, but like I said, it's more of a mental strength kind of thing rather than physical.
Okay. So two things left. I'm going to ask you this 10 stupid rapid fire questions. So whatever comes to your mind. And
Yay, love it. Okay.
okay. So pre-race meal, what's your go-to?
Pancakes.
Oh, yes. I love pancakes too.
Pancakes, yes.
Favorite
Or
gear?
oatmeal if there is no a cooking place.
Oh, oh yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, if pancakes if I have like a microwave or but sometimes you're like, camping or you don't have a fancy hotel with anything in it, so I would go with oat.
Okay. Favorite gear you swear by?
Oh my God, I would love to be sponsored by them because every time I say this, like this is like I've sold probably so many of this already. Which my shoes, my New Balance, fresh foams for sure. Yeah, I will swear by them. Even though I burned them, they're not against fires. I do love my New Balances, and they're not for everyone. I know, but I swear by them because they're what for me works. So I love them.
I also wear New Balance, and I have a trail shoes that I'm
Yay!
using for my current race. That's in 5 weeks, so I like New Balance. They are the best.
New Balance. I think it's very good for people that are particularly slow. If you're slower and then you're a long time in the trail, it has very a lot of cushion. And also, if you're like a heavy athlete, that's like it's ideal for that kind of profile.
It's nice. It's comfortable too.
You see what I mean? Yeah.
Longest you have gone without a sleep during a race?
Well, Cocodona, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably did a good, like I said, a good plus 100 miles without any sleep. I've lost any track of sleep. I don't think I slept at all, but probably did, but I have no idea. So I will say Cocodona.
One song you always add to your playlist.
Chinchilla, run, little girl, run.
So you have done so many, right? What scares you the most, heat or the cold?
Oh my God, that is a 1 million question. I think heat, 100%, because heat, there is no way you can escape it.
Yes,
You cannot take it off. Like even if you're naked there, like you will, like the sun will eat you alive. But the cold, you can put layers on and you can just kind of manage it and survive it. Ish, like if you're well prepared, you can, survive. But if you're in the heat, there's nothing you can do. It's just hot.
yes. Same, same. Would you rather climb a 10,000 meter or run a 250 miles flat?
Oh, climb.
Mm. I
I
mean,
cannot run flat. I cannot run that much flat. It's not happening.
weirdest
That's why I don't
hallucination.
like road marathons.
Road marathons are not, 250 miles is like 9 marathons. So,
Yeah, but it's not flat. Like in a pavement, like flat marathons. Like I could not do one at all. Like that is way too painful.
really,
Yeah, no, that's too difficult, too hard.
that's
Give me some elevation, trails, up and down. That's nicer. But yeah, flat running, absolutely not.
that is
I
incredible
struggle so much.
because you do so much of trail running, and he says you are saying that 42-kilometer flat is harder for you compared to.
Oh yeah, I cannot. No, I've done two in my life, and I've been ended up more beaten up than anything. So yeah, no, do not recommend.
Weirdest hallucination you have had. Has there been any other than Cocodona? Cocodona?
It was just Cocodona. It was the one that I've told you about. Before that, I've never listened to it before. No.
Post race craving you have to satisfy.
Oh my god, pizza so much. Like a super greasy pepperoni pizza. Yes. And a lemonade. Like I love that. Yeah.
So,
Maybe a beer.
oh yeah,
Depends.
alcohol
Depends
free
how
beer.
beat up I am. But it could be a beer.
Alcohol free beer. So that you recover nicely.
Oh yeah. Yes, yes, I like those as well. Corona, I love the Corona Zero here. I live in Dubai, so there's no alcohol. So yeah,
Oh,
Corona Zeros are good after the run.
that's the best thing about Germany is there are so many 0% beers that, and
Hmm.
it tastes so good. I was in US and the
Yeah,
beers
same
did
here.
did not taste good, but here it's
Yeah, same here. You need to come.
oh yes, one day. So for first thing you do when you cross a finish line.
Stop my watch.
That is true.
Very important. Very, very important. You don't want that to be like, yeah,
It's
there's my watch.
PR, stop it.
Probably second, take off my shoes because you are like absolutely demented with shoes. So yeah, shoes.
All right, so this is other question that I ask everybody. I would like you to please finish this sentence. Running has changed my life because.
I know now that I'm more capable than I thought I was.
All right, I think that is it. And
Yay.
congratulations on becoming the first Latino and Mexican to do this incredible thing that you have done.
Thank you, Ash. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me again. It was so nice to meet you and having this chat and sort of remember what crazy year I had. It's
Yes,
always good to remember.
it is good to reflect back to, and it was such a nice to know you and know your mindset, and obviously all these crazy stories and hallucinations. Then I can now talk to Dante and say, Dante, I talked to Tanya and she also had the same dream, like same
I
hallucination.
know how
It's
wild. It is a thing then. Yeah, that is funny. That is funny that we both had the same hallucinations.
Jenny saw like a kids climbing on a truck.
Yeah, they like your brain can go wild. I can
Yeah.
imagine that. Yeah, no, maybe because I was just looking at the floor all the time. Maybe that's why. Maybe if I picked up my eyes, I would have seen something more, or more like different. But because I was just like staring at the floor all the time, and that's where all my hallucinations came from.
Before we go, what's next for you?
Yeah, we have Cocodona next year, and I'm putting all my energy on it. So nothing booked until Cocodona.
Wow. Okay. I'm waiting for that and see how it goes. And thank you.
Yes, I will come back and tell you all about it.
And I hope there is more hallucination stories because I'm interested to know what else do you see and
I know. I want to see something different this
different,
time.
and hopefully no rain this time around. So and
I
ideally
don't think. I mean, it would be a very bad luck.
yes, and but you'll be prepared this time, so that's okay.
Yes, I will be more than ready with more than one pair of shoes for
So
sure.
yes, all right, and I really appreciate this conversation and thank you for being honest and being here and talking to me. And I wish you a good night or good evening. I don't know.
Yes. Good night.
Good night, okay? And see you next time.
Okay.
And
Thank you,
I'll
Ash.
be
Thank you, everyone, for listening as well.
yep, okay. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Hey everyone, thank you for making it to the end of the podcast. I hope you really enjoy this conversation. I'll see you again next time with another guest. Until then, happy running.